UN found evidence of wide-scale human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings, executions, gang rapes, arsons of Rohingya villages, businesses and schools, and infanticides. Welcome to Spaghetti Junction. My name is Gareth.
My name is Bruce.
And we talk about things. We just don't know where they're going to go. Welcome, one and all, to this wonderful podcast on this blessed day.
Yet again.
Amen.
Episode 36?
About 36.
Wow.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've actually managed to get like almost 36 different topics. Everybody in school, screw you now. We've come up with at least 30 different topics, and I'm cool.
I've got to be honest. You definitely are the more of the instigator of the topics. I feel like I have such a one-dimensional thought life, because like you think of so many different things, and you come to me with all these topics. I'm like, how does he think of all this thing? Because
a big reason is because where I work, I don't think. I just file, unstaple, scan, type in the computer, repeat. So my brain is like, just think of something. Just think of anything that can make you at least feel like a human being, which is why I come up with that stuff. Not because, I'm better than you. My brain is like, okay, I've got to keep myself working. Otherwise, I'm going to become a numb little worm, because they don't think much.
All right. Every now and then I will.
You do bring some.
Yeah, but every now and then I'll message them. I think that's a cool topic. Like I give you one to every 15 of yours.
Although in my 15, not all that good.
Yeah, but you've mentioned some to me that we've got podcasts coming up.
I think we're already stashed for a while.
We've got a good stash, yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm having a problem at work.
You're having a problem at work?
Yeah, well, not with work.
At work.
Well, more succinctly.
Word of the day.
Thank you. Are the bathrooms? I have an issue because in the bathroom it's just two stalls.
Okay.
But they're like right next to each other.
I was going to say, I was thinking maybe the quick short answer would be more roughage, but.
Well, it is one ply actually. Yeah. It says like big, that there's a huge.
No, I was getting more roughage in your diet.
Oh, I was thinking more roughage on my butt, but I didn't get that last part. Sorry.
Anyway, sorry. Please.
And there's a stall, and you're ready to poop.
Yes.
You're gonna have like a really nice one, just chill, and then the door opens, and then they sit down next to you. I can't. So and then it's funny for like a minute you're both waiting.
Yeah.
You're both waiting for a bloop, and then you can't do anything. So I think I must have had to go back at least 2 times just to have a moment of serenity.
Oh my word.
But no, it's very weird. Like it's like a minute, like no one does anything. No one talks. No one goes, so it's like poop first, pee, poop, somebody. So yeah,
somebody make the first move.
That's why guys don't do that very well. Yeah. So yes, that it. So when it is actually nice and quiet, and it's just me.
Oh, it's awesome.
Beautiful. But
like music plays.
Have you found that you could poop easier at work or at home?
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. It really doesn't. It's not a factor for me.
I do. I just have moments where it's like, okay. Right now, work has got one over the other one. And the next day, then I see how it goes. And then I keep count. Why? Because I'm doing a monotonous job that I had to do stupid stuff or think of these experientially wonderful things. Because
just to keep yourself
Just to keep myself insane. Exactly. So that's what I do. I mark things off.
You know what? Adapt or die, dude. That's it.
It's exactly what it's about.
Adaptation.
Exactly.
Oh my word.
With a bit of lightheartedness into our topic.
Jeez.
But we've got to keep it real, you know.
Yeah.
And going to be talking soon about the province. Actually, no, you will correct me. Myanmar, which is also known as Burma.
Burma, the country of Burma. Yes.
Which I didn't actually know.
Yeah.
I learned it. So not only do our listeners learn, we learn once in a while.
That's it, eh?
So I learned that Myanmar is actually called Burma.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we are talking about the horrendous situation that has been going on for decades now.
Yes.
With people who decide that other people aren't worth recognizing as citizens.
Correct.
And decide we don't want you here anymore and we're going to systematically eradicate you.
Exactly. That's pretty much
I don't know about you, but it's not something I'm really keen on.
No, but I'm
to say the least.
I'm glad that we're doing it because I think I think that the majority of people are not even aware of this, and it's like a war. It's basically been it is a genocide. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, it is, and it's not something that's being talked about in the news. I think it was.
It was when it first happened,
then,
and now,
as is with so many things, it kind of
yeah,
other things take precedence and stuff like that, and then the rest of the world just goes along without.
Yes, exactly, and then they lose out on this. Yes.
Yeah.
So we were saying that the people are Rohingya, correct?
It is a
Rohingya.
Yeah, it's a small ethnic minority of Muslims that have actually been living in Burma.
In Burma, yeah,
for years.
Yes,
and the main group of people are a Buddhist-based majority.
Yep.
And
that's correct.
And in 1962, when the democratic government of Burma got overthrown by the military in a so-called bloodless coup.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Well, that's how it was reported, apparently.
Yeah,
I'm sure a couple of people lost their lives.
Yeah.
They decided that ethnic minorities, with these Rohingya people included, were not fit to be citizens.
Correct.
And were systematically sort of ostracized. They had their identity cards they started taking away their identity cards. Imagine if you, as a South African citizen, were just going about your life, but then someone knocked on your door and said, "Give me your South African ID book. This is no longer yours."
Well, interesting enough. Count back a few years and think what was happening in apartheid times.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
So we might not know as white people.
Yeah.
But it's the only difference is that, well, the major difference is that there's not a genocide happening, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yes, absolutely.
Between our country and, I mean, it's not on the same level as in as in people like lost their lives and they died like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But there are some links, I think, that is actually understandable from our country.
That's it. Yeah.
But definitely not to the point, yes, where they were actually taking away their like whole identity.
Yeah, and not recognizing them as citizens. Yeah. Citizenship was just being unrecognized. Like, sorry, and then deciding, okay, cool, we're going to register you as foreigners.
Yeah.
Whereas, no, you've actually been living here for quite a few years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And what I found quite interesting too is the whole, is this whole thing can also be seen as a religious thing as well, in the sense of of the main like religion.
Yeah.
Being Buddhism, with the minority. I think I read it's about 2 to 3%.
Yeah, they're a
Burma.
tiny group.
And
of
that
people.
percentage were the ones that were throttled literally by the Myanmar police force, as well as extremists from the Buddhist side as well. So they're not only they are a peaceful religion, but as it happens everywhere, there are extremists.
Yeah.
And they take their religion, unfortunately, and it pulls into this.
And it seems unfortunately, that this General Ni Wen, I think that's how you pronounce it, who overthrew the government, I think he was definitely one of those extremists, because this whole
100%.
everything about the policies of this government protected the Buddhist Buddhist ideologies, the Buddhist people, and restricted the rights of all the minorities. Like here we go again, kind of thing, with another.
And unfortunately, religion kind of is in the middle of it, even though it wasn't meant to be. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
We were talking about the initial attack that happened that started. That sounds like it was the main instigator of this, of the crackdown on the Rohingya people that then turned into a form of genocide.
Yeah. So I think what there had been little. There'd been all of this kind of happening, taking away citizenship, people fleeing, a lot of people, over 250,000 people fleeing to Bangladesh, neighboring country in Bangladesh, because they just been kicked out, or they just were being ostracized anyway.
Yeah.
And then, some of the rebels, some of these guys who decided, okay, we're not going to take this.
Yeah.
And they attacked a police station with kinds of weapons, homemade explosives, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
9 police officers lost their lives.
Yeah.
And the Burmese government went, okay,
we see you.
Right.
We're gonna raise you.
Now we're gonna and I think it kicked off to another level after that. And then we were like, okay, cool, we're done with you. Yeah. And it started.
And that's where it began, and then from there onwards, if I'm correct, the majority of violence and murder that happened after that was actually from the government on the Rohingya people.
Yeah.
In late 2016, the Myanmar's armed forces and the police. So it's probably around that same time we are talking about now. They started a major crackdown on the people in the Rakhine state, basically, which is where the Rohingya people live.
Yeah.
It's in the northwestern region of Burma. The Burmese military were accused of ethnic cleansing and genocide by various United Nations agencies, international crime courts, human rights, journalists, and governments. So I'm thinking,
there might be something.
There could be something
to
in
that.
The UN found evidence of wide-scale human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings, executions, gang rapes, arsons of Rohingya villages, businesses and schools, and infanticides. That I don't know what that means.
Infanticide, it means killing of babies. Killing of
infants.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And the Burmese government dismissed these as exaggerations.
It's funny how often that happens.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Infanticides.
Yeah. No, that's unthinkable, huh?
Yeah, and it's something, that that unfortunately it hasn't continued to be talked about, because there is still, a fallout. But going on that, using statistical extrapolations based on these surveys, which were conducted with a total, and this is saying 3,321. That's very exact. Rohingya refugee households in Bangladesh, which is what we're saying where they ran to.
Yes.
A study is estimated that in January 2018, which is actually reasonably, it's not that old.
No.
That the military and local Rakhine population killed at least 25,000 Rohingya people and perpetrated gang rapes and other forms of sexual violences against 18,000 Rohingya women and girls. They estimated that 116,000 Rohingyans were beaten and 36,000 were thrown into fires.
That's scary. So just
Wow.
what this government will do, what the government will do, and this actually happened. I decided I'd look into some other sort of well-known events
Yes.
of this type of thing. So you had Rwanda as well, and
that was
and it seems like there's a correlation because
Okay.
the government will encourage the people who live in that area who are to then go and take out their neighbors, basically. Like if you are a neighbor and your neighbor, if you're someone and your neighbor is a Rohingya family,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
you are fully,
That's very Rwanda, yeah.
and they'll and the government will sanction that and like, listen, you're fully within your rights. You don't like them, the government will probably also like push that anti-ethnic rhetoric or whatever, and then you, as a next door neighbor, are fully within your rights to take a machete, break down your neighbor's door, and murder his family.
Yeah,
it's like what?
Exactly.
That
Genocide will never make sense.
and it's not actually only perpetrated by the government military personnel. It is perpetrated by citizens.
Yes,
Citizens who
but
are
they are only I wouldn't say a minority, but linked to the like actual, it's the army. It's more of a minority, if that makes any sense to you.
a minority of the citizens who would.
A minority of the people who meaning that the governmental the army basically
Yes.
were in high proportion,
Oh, okay.
high percentage,
Oh, right.
but they were
See
definitely part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. No, I get you.
But that's like one section, so they are part of it, but all the research etc has shown that it is linked more to the actual governmental forces.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see that. Okay.
So now this is now in August 2017. That's that it had been declared as ethnic cleansing and genocide, going back now to various UN agencies, the ICC, which is the highest level.
It's the International Criminal Court.
That's correct.
Right.
Human rights groups and governments. The UN described the persecution as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. In late September 2017, a 17-member panel of the Permanent People's Tribunal. You know what? I can actually get back to it because I think there's more to happen before September 2017. So I'm just going to put a bookmark in that.
Okay. Well, it seems like a lot of this sort of really kicked off in 1991.
Yes.
When
that's
they decided they implemented a program. I don't know what it was called in. Is it Burmese that they talk? That's the language of Burma. I'm not sure.
You talk, I'll find out.
Yeah, they called it Operation Clean and Beautiful Nation.
Wow.
Where it basically gave them license to execute, rape, and assault Rohingyans, just completely, just without thought, without any provocation.
What a great name for it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
They do speak Burmese, yeah, that's correct.
And that was then, and it was between 1991 and 1992 when over 250,000 Rohingyans fled to Bangladesh. And now, because of this, Bangladesh has the largest refugee camp in the world.
In the world. I read that too. It's
just over 900,000 people living in one camp in Bangladesh because of being displaced.
And how many people know that, eh?
That's insane. And they've just been living there. There's no way for them to get back there. They just they can't get anywhere. They're just existing.
It's just blown my mind. 900,000 in one section.
I saw a photo of the camp. It's massive.
900,000 people.
Yeah, over 900,000.
And what's crazy is that when there are a lot of refugee camps and things which are happening,
yes.
But you never hear. For me, I didn't know until we spoke about it. It's the world's largest refugee camp, and it's not spoken about.
No, because it's on the other side of the world. Why does it affect us?
Exactly. It's Bangla, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what?
Maya, what?
Exactly. Sheesh. Wow.
I got a. Here comes Bruce with a quote.
Oh, here we go.
Just the one, I promise.
Okay, that's fine. Let's go.
I read genocide being described as the idea of being able to socially engineer a perfect state.
That's very well written.
And when I was thinking about this took me back to us actually took me back to us talking about our about wokeness and a woke ideology in it. And this is normally, a genocide is normally an ideology that gets perpetuated by
That's correct.
someone, by an organization, and suddenly it takes root, and before you know it, it's millions of people are being killed.
But how are you tying? And I'll be scared to ask this. How are you tying work with this?
No, I'm just saying.
Good Lord, sorry. I was just thinking, Bruce, please don't bring in wokeness into this massacre.
No, I'm not.
I didn't think you would, but I was like, you just said woke.
Yeah, no. I'm
trying to link what the hell you're talking about.
It's just I mean, if I
the ideology, fair enough.
Yes, and
okay,
the thought,
I got you.
And it might just be the idea that one person has, and if they're that passionate about pushing that idea, it might even be a lie. It might not even be the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've decided that I don't like this group of people. Oh wait, look, there's an opportunity to get into politics. I'm going to get into politics.
Yeah.
I remember a short little Austrian guy doing that a while back with a funny moustache, and that kind of resulted in 6 million Jewish people losing their lives.
Correct.
And that was based on an ideology. And it's a very scary thing. You just need the right person in power to then push that, and suddenly,
No, I'm agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah,
100%.
And it happens so often. It's just but it's interesting how often it happens now in more like third world countries.
Yeah,
it hasn't happened. I mean, that last bigger one was in Europe, but we haven't seen that type of thing happen in Europe, or in the sort of, should we say, Western world in quite a while. But then if you look at, so many African countries, Rwanda being one of them, or now, in Burma and all of these places, it's And you kind of just have to wonder why, just. But it's
I was gonna, the thing which we were talking about, which I kind of put like a bookmark in. So where I was saying that where the UN described the persecution as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing, and this was late September 2017. A 7-member panel of the Permanent People's Tribunal, found the Burmese military and authority guilty of the crime of genocide. Sukai was again criticized for her silence over the issue and for supporting the military actions. In August 2018, the officer of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights declared that Burmese military journals should be tried for genocide. 23rd of January 2020, the International Court of Justice ordered Myanmar to prevent genocidal violence against its Rohingya minority and preserve evidence of past attacks. Because what they were doing, in one, the army, sorry, my brain, the government, at times when they, when they burnt down a village, for example, they would come in with bulldozers,
yes,
and raise the whole and basically just
you
raise is the right word,
raise to the ground, basically,
exactly,
which is a very strange term,
and
but I get
exactly. And the reasoning behind that came out is that because they were doing their best to cover up, my brain, sorry, dude. It's basically they did it for the reason to cover up what they did.
Okay.
So does that make sense? As in you're looking at me like you don't know what I'm trying to. Okay,
because they would remove the people from the villages.
Okay.
And then bulldoze.
I know it's right, but
and then bulldoze the.
I probably just need to find the right. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So they're saying, in February, for example, it said in 2018, as an example, it was reported that the Burmese military bulldozed and flattened the burning Rohingya villages and mass graves. So they basically trashed them in order to destroy the evidence of atrocities committed.
Okay.
And these villages were inhabited by the Rohingya people before they were burnt down by the military. And some intact villages that lost their Rohingya inhabitants because of the military crackdown were also bulldozed. So basically, they're just making sure that any evidence that was possible, they have either buried, and they're just flattening everything else.
Yeah.
So when you go in there, from the human rights,
yes,
powers that be,
right?
When you walk in there, it doesn't look like you can't find the proof of what they did.
Yeah, and they're trying to eradicate that anyone ever
Eradication,
actually lived there.
That's exactly what it is.
It's the proof, I think, is sitting in a refugee camp in Bangladesh.
Well,
as far as I think, I think there's a lot of proof there.
Oh yeah, but they definitely found more proof, thankfully.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting which I didn't know actually. April 2019, a Burmese gunship strafed the Rohingya village of, I'm not going to say it properly, a village in there.
Yeah.
The military subsequently planted internationally banned landmines along the northern Rakhine state to prevent the Rohingya from escaping northwest to Bangladesh. Burmese soldiers allegedly gunned down Rohingya civilians that were fleeing south. Those that remained were allegedly targeted by aerial attacks. Some have described the Rohingya as being trapped in a genocide zone.
And this is in 2019.
April 2019. This is all very recent.
That's horribly recent.
Yes. So going to April 22, so a year later, the government of Myanmar released 2 presidential directives, numbers on them, and then they followed it up. They were followed up in January with the orders issued by the ICJ for the government and military to stop genocide against the Rohingya Muslim ethnic group. I think that's right, that's fair, but how do you... All right, guys, you've got to stop doing that tomorrow.
Yes. Just stop it.
I think it's very correct. Stop it. Now go home, smack your butt, and stop doing your crap. I think, so yes, there is proof, and it has been called out that this has been a genocide.
But...
So stop doing it. All right, you guys, you've all been very naughty. Now stop it and don't do it again. If you do, maybe I won't tell anybody. I'm just saying.
Isn't please correct me if I'm wrong. You might know more about this, but isn't now Burma or Myanmar? Isn't the government now supposedly democratically?
Supposedly, yes.
Supposedly democratic.
Correct.
Okay, but obviously with strafing gunships of.
Well, that was a year or two ago, but yes.
Yeah, and that's like, and that's what happens so often, is that these, even if the stuff is reported, you see it on the news, you see these atrocities being happen. And,
yes.
And there's massive outcry, but that those governments just think they're absolutely immune, and nothing gets done.
Yeah,
and there's no justice.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I don't know if the president at that stage was taken, to. Why is it so weird for me,
criminal
dude?
Courts and stuff.
I know all my wordings outside this podcast. As soon as we get, it's like I can't think of the right words. So this is yes. He wasn't taken to court.
No. And now, this
from what I understand, and please tell me if I'm wrong, whoever's listening, but I don't think it ever came to a point where somebody was actually tried for this genocide. No,
it hasn't. I mean, Ni Win, the general Ni Win, who overthrew the government initially. I mean, he passed away in 2002.
There we go.
But he was placed under house arrest, and I think there were some consequences for him. But I don't think it was any very serious.
No,
because and now this lady who's the president, is she the president or the prime minister of she's the current
leader.
Sort of leader.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, she's being very silent about all of this, and it's just they're just turning a blind eye to it. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? That's the attitude that these governments have. It's like, well, what are you going to do? What can you do?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what are you going to do? And that's the thing, and that's why
that's right.
That's why I've felt that United Nations as an organization has no teeth whatsoever, because I mean, how often it doesn't seem like they do anything. Like, yes, they'll go in and they'll study and they'll make findings and blah blah blah.
Which is what they did here, yeah.
But then, okay,
denounce what you did and
yes,
say I'm sorry 20 times.
Yes, put you in the timeout corner.
Yeah,
and
unfortunately, that's, as you say. I'm sure it's changed a few things, but in general, it'll never change what happened. It'll never change what is I wouldn't say a hidden genocide when it was happening, but I think that it's one of the quieter genocides, and the fact that it's the largest refugee camp because of what happened, and that's a minority, by the way. They were like in the 2 to 4%.
Yeah.
Of the whole of Burma.
Yeah.
So if you think it's, I mean, for such a small area and the amount of people that died, and has now uprooted and put almost 1 million people.
Yeah. Yes. I actually, just as we were talking now and about like these supposed watchdogs these
Yeah.
watchdog organizations that
Yeah.
are supposed to, like, keep an eye on stuff like that, and how much they actually it's almost like their hands are tied.
Yeah.
Do you remember we watched the movie Lord of War with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic movie. Still one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah.
He and they, in one of the scenes, he actually brokers an arms deal where he knows that the weapons that he sells to these guys are going to be used to kill people in a refugee camp. And he says in the narration, he says the saying goes that evil prevails when good men do nothing.
Do nothing. That's right.
What they should say is evil prevails. And I was like, what? And when you see this kind of thing happening, evil prevails. Where's the good that's fighting that evil?
Yeah.
It's just you can't really say much more about it. I suppose you can raise awareness.
Yes. Which should have been. Yeah, I think what you're saying, if I understand as we wrap it up, is that that there should have been more done.
Yeah.
To defend the Rohingya people and to actually, I don't think it could have been stopped, because that's everything was. I don't because it wasn't made aware of at that point.
Yeah.
But they could have. I don't know what more could have been done, but just to say and you must say that you won't ever do it again. As you say, there's no teeth in that whatsoever.
No.
And it's not going to bring back anybody.
No.
I think there should have been. Yes, they said that that the generals could have been tried in court and and have gone to prison, but in the biggest scheme of things, how do we know that even happened? It's possible, but it just feels that there should have been more of them that would have been tried in the actual ICC.
Yes.
And actually seen something that shows the world, and shows them in Burma, you shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But from what I've been reading, I don't see that happened.
And I mean, you don't see any of those 900,000 people being told, well, you're welcome back in your home country.
No, I don't think they'll ever go back, from what it seems.
Yes.
I think, yeah. On that noise.
Oh, that's scary. Sure.
A ting-ting noise.
This has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce.
My name is Gareth.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Yep.
And we will catch you guys on the next one.
All right, guys.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.